Alright, today we're going to be looking at this WCS-99XII. It's a wireless camera scanner. It's relatively old, it's definitely not new. As far as I'm aware, you can't actually buy them in the UK or the US anymore. As far as I'm aware, you have to buy them from China. Before we go ahead, let's take a look at some technical specifications. So that's the technical specifications done. That comes from the manufacturer. The one piece of information that I can't seem to find anywhere that I think is crucial is the range of this thing. As far as I'm aware, it has a range of up to 50 meters, and I'm basing that on a number of other wireless camera scanners that I've used in the past. They all seem to be 50 meters. We're not going to discuss too much of the techie stuff, but just to say that it has a range from 900 to 2700 megahertz, which is the bandwidth that in theory most cameras will operate on. And that encompasses the Wi-Fi bandwidth as well as Bluetooth. So it makes sense that it covers that bandwidth. What it hopes to do is detect cameras that may be installed within a property that are using a Wi-Fi signal or a Bluetooth signal to communicate with a relay device that then is sending the information on to someone else. In other words, a live monitoring camera or a camera that can send a feed through a Wi-Fi signal. That is what this hopes to do. Now, again, one of the features it has that I don't feel works very well is the auto scan. All right, so first of all, it comes like this. Actually, the aerials do not come on. The aerials have to be screwed on, so when it's packed away, they come. So when it comes packed away, of course, the aerials are on separately. They were on incorrectly a moment ago. I don't know why that was, but it does say on the top there, it says L and H. Okay, so on the aerials it also says it. Hopefully you can see on that aerial it says L, so we're going to put that on the L. So this is not left and right, by the way, so don't assume. I think that's what the last person did. So L and H. And you can probably just make the letter H there. So that makes sense. To turn it on, before we turn it on, batteries in the back, very straightforward. It also comes with a charger that charges these batteries, and it can function without batteries if it's plugged in. The problem is the connection isn't great. It goes in there. So you can do it like that, but to be honest, I've tried doing it a few times, and what tends to happen is it disconnects if you move it even slightly to, manipulate the signal that it's receiving, and it just, cuts it off, and there's no power source, and you have to start the whole thing again. On and off switch, we'll do that in a moment. And on the other side, we have the controls. So let's turn it on quickly. All right, the first thing that happens, as you can see, just want to make sure this is focused in. As you can see, it starts scanning throughout the bandwidth that I mentioned, so from 900 to 2700. Whilst it's doing that, the screen will remain black or blank, okay? But I've not yet seen it actually pick anything up, and I've only used it in 2 different environments, both residential areas, and it hasn't yet automatically detected anything. That is what it's supposed to do. That's what it hopes to do by going through this automatic scan. But if you're not happy with that and you want to do it manually, you can do that by pressing this thing. It actually presses in, all right, and then it stops the scan. Okay, what I'd recommend, you hold it up, and what I'd recommend is going to the beginning. You hold it up and press it up and hold it up, it scans through quicker. So it's going to go all the way through to 2700. And then it starts again at 900. But as you can see, when you go through the channels here, you do actually start receiving some visual white noise. And it's quite tempting to go through it. The good thing about this device compared to others that I've used is it has a digital display showing you exactly what frequency it's currently on. One of the other larger devices doesn't do that. It has a LED that shows you roughly where it is, but this shows you specifically, as you can see, 990 megahertz. If I press it up once on the side here, using this control, it goes up one by one. If I hold it for a second, it goes up in tens, as you can see. Then I can go back. The longer I hold it up, the quicker it starts to scan through all of the channels. If I press it in, it starts running through them automatically on its own. But like I said, the good thing about it is if I stop it by pressing it in again, I can go through them one by one, which will go through them one by one, and it does start to show you on the screen a bit more what it's receiving. I don't think you can see it all that well. If I bring it closer. The lighting in this room isn't doing any favours, if I'm being honest. But it's going through, and what you can see here is what it's receiving. At the moment it's nothing. Again, I've still not actually picked anything up yet, and I should probably have done this video using an actual device. But as you can see, there you go. Scan through a little bit, there you go. So if you see something that you think, oh, hold on, I want to go back up and check that, you can do it. I actually haven't found anything using this device yet, but that obviously is indicative of the fact that there are no devices of that nature in this area. But it is a good device. I know that it works because someone has told me it works and they've kind of demonstrated to me before, but me myself, I've not actually found anything using it, but it does work. And it's a great device because you can manipulate the frequency in which you're receiving. You can see it displayed on the little display there, which is very useful. Most of these types of devices don't actually do that. So that's pretty much it. Relatively straightforward to turn it off. Obviously it's just a manual switch. The battery's at the back. You just pinch these things in either side there, pull it out, and then you have access to the battery pack. But yeah, relatively straightforward device.